And we got, okay,
Patricia Annette Ansari, October the 1st, 1969, Flint, Michigan.
okay, 1969, okay, so what were your parents' names?
Carla Coleman and Walter Jackson,
And where did they come from?
Omaha, Nebraska.
Okay. And do they have any, were all their family from there, Omaha?
Well, my father originally was from Helena, Arkansas, and they moved there to Omaha. My mother was born and raised in Omaha, Nebraska.
Okay. Also, so you met your mother,
Yes.
mother there. Okay, and was that in the city or was in the country? Or
It was the city limits.
there's a city?
City.
limits? Oh, Omaha, that's a pretty
Omaha
big
is the
city.
city,
I should know
yes.
that, yeah.
I moved here from there.
Okay. And so did you grow up in Omaha?
No, I grew up in Flint.
Oh, you grew up in Flint. Okay,
Mhm.
so they moved early to.
Yes, before I was born. I was
Okay.
born in Flint.
And what about your brothers and sisters?
They were born in
How many of them?
Oh, wow, it was separate family.
Okay.
Oh, my father had 6 daughters by 4 different women, and my mother had 5 children,
Okay.
4 daughters and 1 son.
So the ones that you were raised with.
The ones that I was raised with was my sister, the oldest one is Lana, and then Desi and Craig, my brother.
Okay.
And when I was 6, one of my father's daughters came to live with us. Her name was Tracy. Her mother died in Nebraska, and she came to live with us
Okay.
when I was 6.
So
And
she was from
7.
Nebraska, but the other
Yes.
ones, they never lived with you?
Not the ones that
You
my
know them?
father
Do you
had.
know them?
Yes, I know them.
What's their
I actually met one when I was 26. But I knew the other 2. They came to visit one summer when we were young. I had to be about 8, and they came to visit. And the other, Desi and Lana and Craig, they lived in the home. And Tracy lived in the home. But Angela and Tabitha have the same mother. They grew up in Denver, Colorado. And Lori had her own mother, and she lived in Omaha, Nebraska, and California.
So why did your father have all these wives?
My father only had one wife, and it was my mother. He just...
And your mother again, her name?
Carla.
Carla. He just...
My father was, I guess, what they call a Rolling Stone. He was a woman's, he was
a little womanizer?
Yep, he was a womanizer.
But he stayed with your mother while he was with these other women, or?
Well, she left Nebraska when she was pregnant with me, and his mother told him to follow her to Flint for a General Motors job.
Mm-hmm.
And so he came there, and they didn't get married until Tracy came. They didn't get married. I was 6 years old when they got married.
Mm-hmm.
So they got married when Tracy came, so my mother could adopt Tracy.
Okay. They were already kind of separated already before, because she came here.
Yes, she came to Michigan
so
alone.
separated, and then he just kept with
Yes.
different women at that time.
Yes.
So he really, okay.
Yes.
I mean, I'm not
One of us,
excusing
2 of us
any
are
of his behaviors.
the same age.
Okay.
I mean, they we right there the same age. My mother told me that the apartment complex they lived in Nebraska, the lady lived like 2 doors down.
Mm-hmm.
But that's something he learned from, I believe, his father, because, and I don't know my grandfather, but my grandmother took another lady's husband, and they lived 2 doors down from each other. And I know that aunt, and she explained that to me. And that's his sister on his dad's side. So I think it was things that he seen growing up.
So this kind of bothered you a little bit because you're explaining it.
It not only bothered me, I went through Lies That Bind with Anisha Freeman, where I was given issues that I acquired between the ages of 0 and 12 years old. And that's my trump issue, any sort of man. So because of that behavior, I have picked up any sort of man on up until now, where I'm not dealing with anybody.
You're not comfortable with a man?
No, right now.
There's no trust.
Well, not only that, I just feel like it's time for me to figure out what I want to do instead of catering to men all the time. I picked that up as a child because my mother catered to my father regardless of the things that he did. She still catered to him.
So you don't believe that?
Not anymore.
That you should cater to a man?
Not that's not doing me right. I haven't had a relationship where I've been able to be like that. So right now I'm just trying to figure out who I am and stuff.
But you haven't had a relationship like that, but it looks like you've been through some
I kind of call myself the Samaritan woman at the well because
and you don't have to answer whatever.
I have 5 children by 3 different men.
Okay.
And I was only married to one.
Okay.
And that was my first child.
What do you call it at the well?
The Samaritan woman at the well.
Why is
It's
that?
a book, it's a story in the book of John in the 4th chapter.
Okay.
And so I kind of discovered that while volunteering here and going to another church I went to. So it was explained to me, and I helped assist with the Bible study here. And the pastor, unknowingly, he brought that to light more into my heart, to where the gentleman that I was with for the last 10 years in an adulterous relationship, I knew it was time for me to let go.
In an adulterous relationship, what does that mean to you?
Well, he was married. When I got with him, I met him in an active addiction.
Active addiction in
Of
alcohol?
cocaine use.
Okay. Did you use needles or?
No, I inhaled it.
No, okay.
He smoked it.
Okay.
But somehow, during the circle of that life, I ended up meeting him. And I actually met him through his mother. He's 13 years older than me. And I had already had 3 children when I met him. And they were up in age. And then I began to have children again at the age of 37. Yes.
How many children?
I had 3. One passed away. And I have 2 daughters, ages 8 and 5.
So you have 6 children?
I have 5.
What are their names?
Amina, Noah, Michael, Genesis, and JL.
And then the one that passed away?
Obadiah.
Obadiah, okay. Okay, so you had some issues with him for a while. Were you with him for how long?
I was with him 10 years. During that 10 years, though, I got...
He was married all those 10 years?
Yes, sir. Okay. His wife just passed away last year.
Okay.
During that time, though,
Did he take care of the kids, or did he try
Well,
to take care
he helped take care of the kids while I went to school.
Okay.
I went back to school. I received my associate's degree from GRCC and my gerontology certificate from GRCC.
What is gerontology?
Gerontology is the study of aging.
Okay. So
and that's how I became a volunteer here, because my professor sent me here to do intern work.
So when you say here, you're talking about the United Methodist
Yes, sir.
Community House?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And so why did you get into that study?
Because I have been doing patient care for the last 25 years. I was a CNA. I took care of my father until he passed away at my home. I was already involved in elderly care, but it was mostly the patient care. And when I heard about the program, when I went back to school, it just made me feel like I could advance myself out of the hard labor part into an advocacy position And so that's why I took the gerontology certificate class.
Okay, so you mentioned your father, you took care of him too.
Yes, he passed away at my
What was wrong
house.
with your father?
Alcohol, cigarettes, not eating right. He had a aneurysm in his aorta that busted, and
That's aneurysm, like in the brain or something?
it was in his heart though.
Oh,
It
his
was
heart.
in aorta.
Oh.
It was in his heart, and so it was like a bubble that was waiting to burst. And one day that's what it did. They prepared me for it, but they thought that he would have went in his sleep. But he didn't. He got up from the breakfast table and dropped to the floor.
Well, you took CNA, so why didn't you go into nursing instead of...
As I did the CNA work, and I just didn't like, I started to grow uncomfortable with the health field because a lot of people didn't treat the patients right. It was always a rush situation with them, where I went into getting a CNA because I wanted to know history about them. I wanted to talk to the elderly people. But when you work like that, you really don't have time to sit down and talk to them about their lives and stuff. It's always, we got to do this. You got this next person. And I just didn't want to be not a nurse. I wanted to stay in the health field, but not walking the floor as a nurse or anything. I didn't.
You preferred talking to the people?
Yes,
or?
I preferred to talk to them and hear their stories and things like that. That was more exciting to me than just,
What could you learn from their story? I mean, what?
Oh, I've worked in 3 different states for the last 25 years. I've met people. The oldest person I met was in Nebraska. She was 110 years old. And it was another 100-year-old lady there that told me the story of her birth on the side of the road as her parents was coming out of the cotton fields. And you just can't talk, when you trying to give them patient care, you can't talk to them like that. So I switched over to home care. I took myself out of the facility because the facility is just fast paced. And with the home care, I was able to be more up close and personal with them and be able to talk to them because I was in their home giving them care. So I stuck more to that. That was like the last of my work that I've done. I'm not working right now because due to the 25 years of hard labor, I have to have a double hip replacement. My body has broken down from the labor of being a patient care worker. So.
But what do you mean, the labor? You mean
to lift them up,
so
the Hoyer lifts, picking them up, transferring them.
So you did you do a lot of driving too, or you just kind of picked them up, transferring them to a bed?
Right, transferring them from the bed to the chair.
How long did you do that?
25 years.
25 years. Where did you work at?
Various places.
What kind of places?
Mostly home care places that like staffed you out to Porter Hills and Pilgrim Manor, Christian Rest Home. I went to different agencies that paid more. I didn't like being in one place all the time. I just liked it to move around, and so they gave me opportunities to go to different places.
Now this, I kind of worked in a field similar to that with the autistic population. But so what does that feel like? The other one, I'm not familiar with.
The facility field or the home care field?
The home care field. I mean,
the home care field.
Can you describe that?
The home care field is very different because first of all, you have to be trustworthy enough for someone to allow you to come into their homes. People's homes are sacred, so you just don't let anybody into your home. And I was able to make them feel more comfortable.
Training or something like that?
No, there is no training in it.
I mean, you just walk into the job?
Yes,
You walk into somebody's home?
Yes. You
So
just
so you say you got to be trustworthy. How are they going to trust you?
well, the way you come across and the conversations that you have with them. And I mean, when I first came in, I would talk a little bit with them about their past and what did they like to do, and and from there we would build a kind of relationship where they trusted me.
So if they didn't like you, they can get rid
They
of you.
could get rid of me.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so you knew that.
Yes.
And they knew that.
Yes.
Okay, so they had to trust you
Yes.
eventually. Okay. Okay, and then so you come in, and then most of them, what kind of issues did they have?
Well, the last place I worked for was one building. It was a senior citizen apartment complex, but this home care office was contracted out, so we had our own office in there inside the apartment complex, and we did various things as far as.
What did you do?
I was actually, before I left, I was the shower person.
Okay.
So I had, because no one wanted to
That sounds like
do
an
showers.
assembly line.
And it was an assembly line.
So-
Because I was going from one apartment to the next.
Showering people?
Yes.
So you finish with one and then
Yes, go to the next.
and then to the next line.
Yes.
Just like it is an assembly line.
Yes. A human assembly line.
Yeah.
Yes.
Assembly line. And then so you just kind of, because you're working, so you're trying to hurry it up. You know?
Yep. But I didn't want to rush them through. That's something serious too, because then you have your body. A lot of people don't like you looking at your body. A lot of people are uncomfortable, so you have to make them feel comfortable about that as well.
So were there issues with some people and getting looked at, or
Yes, some of
were
them.
there any reports or anything? Like
No, I never had anything but good reports.
that? No, I don't mean you. But
Yeah.
did you hear of any?
Well, yes, before the lady that was doing it before me, she said she had issues with body parts and she was asexual. I didn't understand what that was, but she would not touch them. And she would tell them to go and buy a brush on a stick. And she would stand back and, try to wash them, but they weren't being washed properly.
Okay.
So they were just waiting around to see.
So with you didn't care. You just,
No, because I've been doing it so long, and cleanliness, I wanted them to be clean as if I was clean. I know how you would feel if your body is clean. So, no, I went in and scrubbed them.
So you didn't have any conflicts or anything?
No.
Okay. All right. That's good. So you got this assembly line. They got to clean up at a certain time.
Everybody had a certain time, a certain day.
Did you mostly work at nighttime, or did you?
No,
work
I
in the-
worked in the daytime. Most of
Awesome.
them wanted it in the daytime.
And then, so what was their day like?
It could get hectic because some elderly people are very particular about things. I had a lot of racism.
Okay. Can you explain? Give me some example of that.
One incident was I was graduating this year, and so everybody in the building knew that I was going to be graduating May the 1st. And I had brought my children, the two little girls, with me to a Bible study on a Sunday one time. And so one lady that I had to give a shower to, she asked me, could I take my shoes off? Now, before she had never said anything about me taking my shoes off. So she asked me, could I take my shoes off? And I told her no, because I was having problems with my hip and my daughter had to tie my shoe up. And I said, if I took my shoes off, I can't put them back on. And she said, well, I don't want you standing on my bath mat because I don't know where your feet's been. And that hurt me so bad. But I didn't treat her no different.
So you're a professional, but things do affect you.
Yes.
What they say affects you.
Yes.
And so this lady said something about your feet or something like
Yes.
that. Your shoes.
Right.
And so did you have other issues like that too? Or?
I had another lady. She used to like to watch Fox News, and she hated Barack Obama. and you could actually hear her screaming as you walk past the door back at the TV, and I asked her to stop watching that. I said, that's making you sick. You shouldn't watch the news all the time. But it eventually took her will to walk, and eventually it put her in a nursing home. But she was open about not wanting African Americans in her room.
Okay, so when you say open, she was clear.
Yes.
In other words, she was a little prejudiced.
Yes.
But so that happened. I mean, you have to deal with it. You're a worker. You have to deal with
Yes,
it.
I had to deal with that.
And then you're also a worker. You have your own opinions. Like you like Barack Obama, she didn't like.
Right. So I just didn't say anything
so
about it.
You might be more Democratic and she's more Republican.
Right.
So you got to deal with all these issues
Yes.
when you're dealing with human beings.
Yes.
Is that? I mean, I don't
Yes.
want to put words in.
That is exactly how it was.
I mean.
But it goes back farther than that. I mean, even in the nursing home, I've been called coons and the N-word and by patients.
By the patients, okay. Mm-hmm. And what about? I mean, you walk in. Most jobs are real nice until you meet the staff.
Yes.
Now, is it like that or what?
Well, the staff kind of.
Oh, it was like that for me.
The staff, they kind of keep it undercover. They not really.
Okay, so they're pretty good.
They but you can tell sometimes how they would do favoritism over things.
Well, like what do you mean?
Like it was one black resident over at the place where I just left, and she was a 61-year-old black female that didn't like black people. And she knew, and the lady knew it.
And
the boss knew it. Yeah, the staff knew it, but none of the white females wanted to go in there either. And so she just didn't get her way, and she just cut a slot out for somebody to, just one person to do her, because she said she was too complicated and she just didn't want to deal with it. So
it looked like it was painful on a lot of different.
And physically and mentally and spiritually painful. Yes, I've watched people die.
Okay.
I've had to get them ready after they passed away. I've been through all of that. You know, they
was
teach
it
you in that.
Someone that was close, or?
Well, my father was the last one.
So you were there. You had to get him ready.
Well, he was on my floor. I had to call for the coroner to come and get him.
So wait a minute, Shirley, you're working at this place and your father is there?
No, my father died in my home in front of me and my children.
Was the hospital you're working at?
Yeah, at the hospital and a nursing home.
And they brought him to the hospital at the nursing home?
Who, my father?
Because you said you had to call the coroner for your father.
No, because when you die in a residence, they have to come pick him up from the residence. So I had to call Gillespie's funeral home.
He was in a different
No, he was in my home.
In your house?
Yes, he died in my home.
Or in your house, okay.
In front of me and my children.
Okay.
And he laid there for at least 2 hours before Gillespie come and got his body off my dining room floor.
Okay.
So that was in 2008.
So that wasn't too long ago.
Yeah, so that was, after that, I really didn't want to do the work anymore. And then I think that's when I started going back to school. That's when I started going back to school, and and started changing my life. I got saved and started doing things differently.
So that kind of got you to get saved?
Yes.
So in other words, you after your father passed away,
Yes.
it was very difficult?
Yes, I took counseling.
You had to go to counseling?
I did. I went to grief counseling.
Grief counseling. Okay, so you did get some counseling.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and then after that, while you were getting counseling, you went to church?
Yes, I started to go to a church. About a few months after that, I started going to a church, and I've been there since then. And
What church was
a
that?
Christian Life Center, Pastor Joel Brooks. He's out of Kalamazoo,
Okay.
Michigan. And so there I just grew stronger because he was the type of pastor that, you know, he taught you to get up and keep going. You got to keep going. So I just kept going, and I went back to school. I already had some credits from Flint. So I owed them some money to release the credits. I paid them, and I got on the roll from there. And I graduated with my associates in 2014, and I finished the gerontology program and finished that this year, May of this year.
Where were your other siblings at when your father passed away?
What was?
Your other siblings, your brothers and sisters?
Oh, they're all out of state.
They were where?
Out of state.
Out of state. So they didn't come around?
Oh no, they came. Me and my sister. It's two that have the same mother and same father, and that's my older sister, Desi. She lives in Los Angeles. She came. The other children I told you wasn't his.
Right.
So three of my mother's kids didn't come. One of the out of the 6 children that he had by 4 different women showed up. And Tracy was there, the one that we adopted at 7. Mm-hmm. So she came, but no, nobody helped.
But they weren't here. They weren't living
No,
here.
no, nobody was living here.
So you got to take that responsibility.
Yes.
So that was a big responsibility.
Yes, and then I was with the children's father. He was with me at this time.
Okay.
Too.
So he helped you out.
Yeah, he helped out too with my dad.
And the kids were about how old, basically?
My children were. The oldest one was 17, 14, and 11.
Okay. 17, 14, and 11.
Yep.
And so how did they take it?
They took it. They wouldn't allow. They didn't want to go for counseling. They took it bad. The boys started acting out. Neither one of them graduated from school. The girl, she finished school though. My father got to see her graduate, but she, I guess, I didn't like the way she started to dress, and she began drinking as well too, from what I understand. My oldest daughter, okay. Yes. So they all took it a little different. They took it hard because that was their only father figure that they knew. He was always in the home with me.
Oh, so he was always in the home, yep, with you. Okay, and so, but you knew that he was sick and that he was going to be going. Yes, I
was informed by the doctor that one day.
How much time?
She didn't give me a time.
But
she just said.
How much time before you were informed?
Oh, maybe a few months before that.
A few months.
Yep.
Okay, so it wasn't that long.
No.
But I mean, you were kind of preparing it mentally, no?
Right.
But still, it was difficult to deal with, or?
Well, it was a relief too, okay, because.
Now that don't sound right, but explain,
it was a relief because my father didn't want to stop smoking cigarettes. And when I would get him dressed and he would go out on the porch, I lived in an apartment complex, he would beg everybody for a cigarette. I mean, he still wanted to drink alcohol. And it was difficult being
what kind of alcohol?
Bacardi was his drink.
Bacardi, oh, he drank that.
Yeah, right, he liked it that. And so it was hard for me to become the parent. I didn't want to rule over him. I let him do what he wanted to do.
You didn't want to rule over him, so he was a ruler.
He was my father, okay, and I didn't want to tell him, no, you can't have this.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So
and it was his money.
So that was difficult.
Right, money? And I was over his money.
And he would let you know that it was his money.
Not in such a nasty way like that, but yeah.
If it's my money,
I want something to drink, yeah.
And that's it. And it's kind of difficult. It was kind of difficult, yes, for you to overrule.
Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty good.
I had to take him from my mother, though. I gave my mother a chance to try, because Daddy got sick before. He got sick in my drug addiction.
Okay.
And,
Okay.
yeah.
So you felt it was your fault because you were addicted at that time to drugs and he got sick?
He was with an addict himself. He wasn't living with my mom. He was living with another lady that was a crack addict.
Okay.
And she was taking his money and using him, and so once he got really sick and they had to rush him over to Ann Arbor, and he was on a respirator and all of that. And then I think that's when I reached out to God and I asked him, please, don't take him. So he didn't take him right away, and I got clean.
So what do you mean you reached out to him? You prayed by
Yes.
yourself, or you went to the church to pray?
No, I just prayed in the elevator going up to see him, and I asked him, please don't.
Is that the way they prayed at the church?
No, I didn't know what I was doing.
Or you just did it from, from your heart?
Yes,
From your heart.
I didn't know what I was doing. So,
Okay. You needed asking for help. You needed somebody
Yes.
to help you. It was too much.
yep.
If you need to stop, let me know.
No, I'm okay.
Okay. All right. Okay. So you're on the elevator and you're feeling helpless. You want him to stop, but you're addicted too.
Yes, and I said I will stop. That was my prayer. If you let him live, I'll stop doing this.
Okay. So there was like a.
So it's like, and then I got pregnant for Genesis. I was 37.
Okay.
So I got pregnant and I stopped. I stopped doing the cocaine. And after that, I just didn't go back to the cocaine at all.
So how long were you a cocaine user?
I came here in 2002, October of 2002. I started using cocaine February the 8th of 2003. I used cocaine until maybe the end of 2005.
Okay, so a couple of years if you
Yep.
Okay. Did you go to a program after?
No, I didn't go.
You're aware that you should go to a program.
I did. Well, the program that
you don't have to go inside a program, but you should at least get more education about it.
Right.
You're aware of that.
I was involved with Strong Beginnings.
That's what I'm told. I used to be a
I didn't like NA.
substance abuse counselor. That's what I'm saying.
Right. I didn't like NA. I was involved with a program called Strong Beginnings,
Okay.
and they had a lady named Anisha Freeman. She came and spoke one day. And I was in the early childhood program through Arbor Circle. And she was working there, and I told them I need her. That was after the grief counseling. So I pursued this lady, and I found her. Mm-hmm. She told me how to get in her program, and so I got through her program.
So you did go to a program?
Yes, and she's a recovering addict, and she took me to an NA meeting once, and I just didn't care for the NA stuff, and I didn't want to give NA credit for me I was delivered from cocaine.
Your program, because through faith, also,
yes,
you can like you said, save.
Yes,
You can
and I didn't want to just say that it was NA.
Yeah.
That saved me, and so
But, I'm just saying that you learn through the program that you can not easily fall back into that.
Right.
If you don't watch, you gotta stay on top.
Right. I started going through stuff I learned a lot of different programs. School helped it, but I went through another program called Take Charge.
I guess that's my question. What did help you?
Take Charge. Her name is Sarah Ryan. She have a chaplain ministry for women. She works out of the Lutheran Center down on Lafayette and Fulton. So I found out about that. I went to that for a few months. I did a lot of different classes just to find out who I was. I did that before I started school. I think it was preparing me to get ready for classroom stuff. And so after that, you know, I just took off from there and I just kept going and I didn't give up. And I wanted to go back and show my older kids that it could be done. So that's a lot of reasons I did it
So
too.
you were like a role model for your children. And
Trying to
not
make
a role
right
model,
wrong.
our parents.
Can't unscramble an egg, but I was trying to go back and fix some stuff that I know.
What, fix them?
Because my children
It's
knew
not
it.
confidential.
My children knew I was on drugs. I didn't never lie to nobody.
Okay.
I told,
So they know that?
yeah,
'Cause you're-
they knew it.
If they didn't, they're gonna know.
No, they knew. They knew.
Okay.
They knew. I told my 7-year-old, he said it was a phase. I remember the day. I remember the day he said that. He was like, it's a phase. And I said, what does this 7-year-old know about this? But that's what he said. He said it was a phase. And you know why I did that? Because I didn't want nobody else to come back and tell them in another way. So if somebody else say something to you, I'm telling you right now. So you already know that.
So you wanted to be completely honest with them.
Yes, I was completely honest with them.
And then you kept going to church. That kind of helped you out.
Yes, I kept going to church, but my kids didn't want to. The 3 older kids, they didn't go to church because I didn't take them to church. But I had a bad experience here too, as well, that turned them away from church as well. Because I stayed in Mel Trotter when I got here in 2002.
And Mel Trotter is like a homeless shelter.
Yes, they are the only people that took me. I came here from Omaha, Nebraska with 3 kids and 10 bags of luggage by myself. I didn't know anybody. And I met a young lady over there and she took me to a church. And the first day I was there, they were just, you know, rushing around and speaking in tongues. And I wasn't used to none of that. And they was like, we're going to baptize you right now. And I didn't say nothing. I don't know why all of this happened. But I wasn't even on drugs then. And they baptized me with a white robe on, butt naked with nothing on under it. And my children told me when they pulled me up out the water that they could see everything. And 3 weeks later, I was doing cocaine. After that.
Why? Because they could see everything, or?
I don't know what. I don't know if the man was possessed or what. I don't know what. I don't know what happened. I've been rebaptized since then.
Okay.
Because
so you're not.
I don't want to blame the gentleman for it.
Okay.
You know, that wasn't the first time cocaine had been offered to me. I'm going to be honest and tell you why. It was any sort of man issue. It was the man. And it was something he was doing.
Who was that man?
Yep, and so I did it. No, it wasn't the children's father. No. It was another gentleman that I had met. And he actually was from Flint, but I didn't know him in Flint.
Okay.
And I met him here.
And so he turned you onto the cocaine?
Yes.
Okay, and then cocaine is addictive, highly addictive. So.
Right, it got very highly addictive. So
not physically, but more mentally because... Right,
it got addictive to the point where I didn't want him no more.
Okay.
So, he started telling me how addictive it was. I said, well, you didn't say anything in the beginning, so...
Okay, so you got angry with him and then you left him.
Yeah, I got rid of him.
Well, you probably ran out of money, too.
Who, him? I never ran out of money. I always had a job. Mm-hmm. I always had work that, went to work. It didn't stop me from going to work or whatever. I went to work and I kept a job. I'm thankful that none of the things, I'm grateful that I didn't get involved with CPS, Child Protective Services. I never was put out. My lights and stuff wasn't turned off. All my family in Flint was doing it already.
Okay. Doing what, cocaine?
Yes, they was already doing it. And so
was it cocaine easily available then, or?
Not here. I had to go. I would go to Flint. Yes.
You would go to Flint to get it?
Yep.
Okay, but did you have to deal like some women have to go through different things to get money and stuff like that?
Nope. For some reason or another, that never happened. I mean, it's
You don't have to answer.
no. I never would use sex, sold my body, or any of that, stole, or anything.
Okay.
I mean, as far as
Well, once or twice maybe, but it's not big.
well, it's all involved in the gang, the drugs and
I'm
sex.
talking about the stealing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The borrowing.
Yeah, borrowing or something like that.
Okay.
You know, money and then paying it back.
Right.
Yeah, but it had
I
never.
was notorious with my uncle. Can I borrow some money?
Right, I never.
Yeah.
Well, God never let it get out of hand like that. So I really didn't understand what was going on with the drug situation. But when I got off of the drugs, my younger cousin that's 10 years younger than me, she had been on it way longer than me. That encouraged her to get off of drugs.
Okay.
So,
You became a role model for somebody.
yes, I did.
Okay. And then you went and got the education, the school. And
When
then
I
you
got that,
Got
kept
some
going.
counseling and stuff like that. You still
Kept going.
and now you're working. And when you working now here, that kind of helps too. If you work help
Right.
others, no?
I like
Does that
coming
help?
here.
Does that help?
Yes, it does. It helps a lot. I love coming here because they remind me of my dad. A lot of these gentlemen, older gentlemen around here, remind me of my father. I like to see them.
What do
Well,
you
there's just
of your
some of the
father?
things they would
Tell me about
say.
your father. You didn't tell me about your father.
My father was a quiet person. He didn't really speak much, you know. But like Mr. Snell, he reminds me of my father. Clarence, when he
What does he
smiled.
remind you of your father?
Well, sometimes he'll give me advice or pat me on the back and say, "Good job, Pat." You know, stuff like that. So that made me feel fatherly. Mr. Fred, I feel like a father figure. Stuff like that. They just,
So it's like support. So being here is also
yeah.
support.
I like to help
You're
them
You're
too.
working with them, but they're supporting you too.
Yes, they are.
So that's good. That's good. Okay.
They are. They are very supportive. They don't know it, but they are.
What's in your future? And what
What's in my
'cause
future?
You just finished school, so that's
Well, I got some surgery that's coming up, and
that's for the hip.
yes, and when I get past that and recover, I don't want to enter back into patient care. I'm ready to put my degree to work, so I continue to come here, and they take me under their wings and they teach me stuff that I need to know so that I will have skills to do something more than just giving people baths, making beds, and taking the trash out. I'm, more worthy than that.
In the school, in the college, you learn more than that, right? So what else did you learn in the college?
Oh, I
besides
learned a lot.
school?
I learned a lot. They went through the mental and health. Oh, I learned that the STDs is the highest in the senior population, and I get to
STDs,
see sexually transmitted diseases.
I thought they were.
Oh no, no! That's very much. I saw that everything that I learned in school, I see it now. As far as like property has to be in the children's name like 5 to 7 years prior before long-term care. I learned how long-term care can take a rich person down to a poor person. And I seen that at my last job. And but I like working here because these people are more happier than the rich people. They got more joy over here.
What do you mean?
They more happier. They may bicker and argue a little bit, but they got happiness in them. They look forward to coming here. And when I worked at the rich place, they didn't even.
Why would they look forward to coming here? If when you first come in here, you think that it's the most boring place in the world. And you're saying
No, they like coming here.
Why
I think they like coming here because some of them have made some friends, good friends. They have nice conversations. We have the Bible study, and they do a lot of nice trips. And Miss Anita is very good. The senior prom, they just look forward to all of the activities that they're going to do.
Prom, what is that? That sounds like
Senior prom is something that I've attended twice because I've been volunteering for 2 years, and she puts on a prom. You know, I never went to my prom.
So a prom, you mean like high school? Or
Yes, so they all dress up, and there's a theme, and they have music and dinner and pictures, and it's nice to see them still interacting, dancing on the dance floor. It's just good to see them doing something else besides sitting at home wasting away, watching Fox News.
You don't like Fox News?
No, I didn't like Fox. I had never watched Fox News until I worked at that place, and no, I don't care for Fox News.
Okay. Your children, raising them, how was that?
I got 2 generations of children, born in 2 generations. Some was born in the 1900s, and the other 2 was born in the 2000s. So
2 centuries.
Yeah, 2 centuries. The first 3, I kind of raised. They was raised with me. We was come up together. Where now I'm more authoritative. With the other 2, I'm more serious. My mind is not clouded. I'm not on drugs anymore, so I'm watching everything that you're doing. And I missed a lot on that with the other 3. I wasn't paying too close of attention. So I missed quite a bit. And I can't go back, so. But it's different with these younger 2 and with the older 2. Since I've graduated, I've set a bar for my family. I'm the first child of my mother's to graduate from college, so of any of our children. So I've set a standard for them. These younger 2, there's no reason why they should believe they will never make it to college. And the 3 older ones, I'm pushing forward to make them go back and keep going because they're still young enough to go back. I was 40 plus when I went back to school. So
what did college give you? I mean, what did...
Oh, it gave me freedom. It gave me a mind to think for myself. It taught me things about like the one third compromise, or maybe it's the 1/5 compromise. I learned things that I didn't even know that I think I should have been taught in high school, but I didn't learn. And that compromise thing is something I learned in American government, how they thought of African Americans like we wasn't even 1/3 of a person. So I never knew things like that. I never heard of the Willie Lynch letters until I came here.
Willie Lynch, who's that?
Willie Lynch is a man that came over to the United States way back to teach slave owners how to break a slave. And I didn't know that until Mr. Fred gave that to me last year. So I was 44, yes sir, 44 years old. Okay. I don't even believe my father knew that. So I just learned all kinds of stuff.
Like African American history.
Yep, I learned more. I learned about African American history. I just learned more about politics.
Does that help to learn that?
Yes, it does. Because I can...
I mean, you're an American, already. Why do you gotta learn African American history?
Well, I guess to give me pride of my heritage, to give my children pride, to teach it to them, because I immediately went home to make my sons read the letters because he printed it out for me and stuff, so I gave it to my son to read it because I want them to know everything that I know. So it just helped me a lot. school period helped me a lot. It helped me to be structured, organized, to keep it real with myself. I'm not fooling anybody. It taught me not to be a slacker. I procrastinate a lot, so that helped me with that. I don't procrastinate as much as I used to anymore. Before I started going to school, I would like meet deadlines on the deadline, so it taught me not to be like that. So yeah, it taught me a lot of stuff, way more.
So it got your life more organized?
Yep. It made me dream a little bit more. It made me see that it's possible for me to do more than be on welfare and Section 8 forever. And this is all that I got. And so no, I know it's more to life than that.
Okay, when you're talking about that, you're real live, but then sometimes you go back into like being depressed. What is it that's inside you that keeps you depressed sometimes?
Well, right now with the hip surgery, that's keeping me depressed right now. I want my sons to go back to school and get it, even if it's just a GED. That depresses me. Basically, the whole couple of years that I was on drugs depresses me. Because in that time, I can't get it back. And the kid, I believe my daughter started having sex then, and my son's...
How old is your daughter?
She's 25 now. But I believe she was having sex then.
At what age? What age was she having sex?
Maybe 14.
That's not normal?
No, not for me.
No, not for you, but
no.
That's not normal in the society.
And yeah, but I always looked at society as I'm different than society, even when I was on drugs. I just don't like to go with society on everything. And no, I was way older than her when I started.
You don't like change?
Well, I didn't like that Grand Rapids Public Schools allowed her to get birth control without my permission as well.
No.
So.
Okay. So you were against birth control?
Right, and I wasn't even aware of it, and they said that they didn't need my consent. So basically, they gave her permission to go ahead and start doing this. But I guess I should be thankful. I don't have any grandchildren, and she took it upon herself to go and get herself protected.
So you don't believe in let go and let God?
Oh yes, I believe in let go and let God.
What does that mean to you?
Right now, I might be struggling with it because of the pain that I'm going through with my body and stuff, but let go and let God is put it down, surrender. You just got to give it up. It's out of your hands. So when things is out of your hands, they're out of your hands. And with the oldest three, yes, I have let go and let God. The 8 and the 5-year-old, I don't have any financial help from their father or any physical help. And that's kind of hard, so I have to deal with that. And right now, I'm just not ready. I stay on them about school, about life, things in the Bible. I'm just on top of it. I don't know if that's letting go and let God or not, or if that's teaching.
You let go and let God, but you also got to have some rules.
Right. See, I attend.
I don't know. I'm being.
I'm
putting my belief into you.
I attend an all-white Bible study on Sundays. I went there. I actually took 2 friends of mine that didn't know Christ, and I stepped away from my own church to go there to get these 2 young women involved, and only one of them stayed and got baptized, and the other one, she's still fighting it. But I went to this class. I left that class and went over across the hall, and so it's called Crossroads. And they, the way that they see their kids, they want a tight rain on them, and I have to tell them to let go and let God. I mean, my son is telling me stories about some boy putting a gun in his hand when he was 14 and telling him to go kill somebody. And at this time, this was after his grandfather passed away, he said he walked over there and bammed and bammed and bammed on the door. He told me I was going to kill everybody in the house. And nobody ever answered the door. So I have to realize that God was he's always with us. So I'm very grateful for that. You know, I'm grateful that he's outgrown stealing. He had to go through a 6-month program over at the
This is your son.
juvenile, yes, the youngest son. And so he
was stealing what you...
breaking in people's houses, stealing. And so stealing cars.
I'll say that.
Yeah, he was just out of control, and he had to go through this program, and now he goes to work every day. He don't like his job,
How were you
but
feeling during that time? Because I mean, he's going through his teenage years. That's what
that was hard.
his gang members are doing that.
Right, but he
Was he in a
never.
gang?
No, he didn't. He didn't assimilate to gangs.
But he has a little small group.
He had his own little small group.
They usually go in pairs to
Right,
take cars and stuff,
Right.
joyriding. And,
right.
so he wasn't selling the parts of the car. He was just joyriding,
Joyride.
which is a kind of a phase.
Right.
But
But
I can relate to that.
He's grown out of that,
Okay, he's going on that.
and he watched
Was
me.
he the one that said a phase is just a
Yes,
phase?
he was. He
So
is. He is the child that said it was a
At 7
phase.
years old, he's saying,
Yes,
it's a phase.
and so he saw me walk across the stage twice, and that has encouraged him.
He walked across the stage in terms of church or
And the
school?
graduation,
Graduation, okay.
and so now he's getting prepared to go back to school. Him and his friend Jose just got a job. I had talked to them. I just seen Jose the other day, and I explained to him he's capable of doing more.
He's capable, but what if he doesn't do it
Well,
right away?
He went and
Right
got
away.
a
He might have to
job.
go through.
Right, he might have to go through some stuff.
I mean, are you willing to accept that?
Who, my son? Yes, I'm willing to accept that. I am
That's
accepting.
what I mean by let go and let God.
Yeah, I'm willing to accept it. I had no other choice.
It's easy for me to say because I'm not.
I had no other
parent.
choice. I couldn't get him out. He had to go through that.
But now I know because you're also like a preacher, so you're really into the church. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
What church is this again?
I go to North Park. I go to 3 churches now.
What denominations?
North Park is a Baptist church.
Okay. But before you
Christian
get
Life Center is a non-denominational
Okay.
church.
Okay.
And I've been going to Madison Square Northeast
Well, they're
for the
pretty.
last 5
they're good.
weeks.
They're good church. They're really missionary type. Of
Right, and I've been going
So
there.
you're a missionary. You got a mission,
I think so.
and so you're out there trying to save different people from the community.
Right.
Okay, so that makes you put a little more authoritarian. So that kind of.
Yes.
I see what you're saying.
Yes. Everything that I learn, I in turn tell it to my kids.
But the kids are not there. You are. But
Right.
the kids are still revolving.
Right.
What do you think?
The older kids. The older kids.
Words in your mouth.
The older kids. Well, really, I don't. Noah is the middle child. He doesn't communicate with me that much. He turns 22 today. But Michael is 19 and Amina is 25. I talk to Michael really
But
seriously.
they're at home? They're still at home?
Michael is the only
The
one
one
there.
that's 25?
No, he's 19.
The one that's 19?
No.
But the other ones kind of are on their own?
On their own.
Are they married?
No. Noah's living with a woman, though,
Okay. But
which I don't approve of, but he saw me do it, so,
yeah.
I mean,
I mean,
I can't tell him. I just encourage him to,
but he already he raised them for you,
Right.
you know? Let go and let go.
yeah. I have.
I'm putting, I am not supposed to do it. I'm putting stuff.
I have let go and let God. When I see Noah,
Yeah, don't worry about what I just said.
I don't say that's
raised,
fine.
The main thing is that
right.
You're
When
right.
I see Noah, I say what I need to say. He say, "You right, Mom. You right." And yesterday when I was here, he was calling from a job place, so he went to go get him a job as well. So they all have a job now,
Well,
and that's
he
fine.
Get a job, or he's going to be homeless, and he knows that. He knows that.
Yeah.
You don't have to tell him that. He already told him that.
He's seen it too.
Yeah. But it's hard because I feel guilt because I didn't raise my kids all over.
Oh, okay.
I'm always handing them money.
Oh, that's how my mom is. She don't know how to love, and so she give monetary gifts.
And that's not good.
No, that's not good because then she get mad and talk about it.
I'm trying to tell them that I don't have to give them no money.
Right. I don't think that money is the way.
Okay. So what's the way then?
The truth is the way.
What does that mean?
Be honest with me. I try to be honest with my kids about everything. And I want them to be honest. Whoever is gonna hurt, you just gotta be honest. Don't lie. I don't like liars. So I ask them, please don't lie to me. But most of them don't lie, or I would have to trick them to make them tell me the truth.
What kind of tricks did you use?
Well, my daughter is a very...
Have you used? What kind of tricks have you used?
I've used tricks.
Like what?
Okay, my daughter, she needed me for financial aid before she turned 24. And so my daughter had conspired with my sister and my mother after my father died to take my children from me.
Mm.
And I did
This was because you had a substance abuse problem?
No, the substance abuse was over.
But they didn't know that?
No, my sister don't have any children, and she wanted my children.
Oh, okay.
And she lives in California, and she never had any kids.
So she conspired with your daughter?
Yes. And so I told her, unless you tell me the truth, I'm not going to sign this paper. And she told me the truth. So, Noah, you could back him into a corner. He'll tell the truth.
Yeah.
Michael is just going to tell the truth.
Okay. But Noah will tell it all.
Yeah, Noah will tell it all. Noah will tell it all. Yes. I don't know if he'll tell on himself, but he'll tell on someone else.
Okay.
Yes. So.
He's
the other two, the younger
That's
two.
how he doesn't tell on himself. He tells on somebody else.
Right. The younger two, though, they lie. Okay. And I don't like that. And I'm trying to come up with different strategies on how to try to make them be more honest and truthful.
But none of them joined gangs.
No.
So they came out okay.
My sons never gravitated. I never lived on the southeast side. Their best friends are white or Hispanic.
The southeast side?
Mostly.
Okay.
But there was a gang on the north side.
Where did you live? I didn't ask you where you lived.
I've always lived northeast.
Northeast? And what area?
And I lived in Orchard Place. I lived in Stonebrook Manor. That's off of Plymouth. I lived on Hollywood Street. And now I live in York Creek. But
okay, this is over there.
all north. Northwest I'm in Northwest now because that's Alpine and 4 Mile.
Okay.
But all the rest of the places was Northeast. Between Leonard, Fuller, Plymouth, that area. So they growed up all around there.
What was that area like?
I thought it was safer than over here.
Okay.
My mother never liked to live around African Americans.
Okay.
I never went.
Why is that?
I don't know. But she sent me to all white schools.
But did it have to do with not race, but it had to do more with security, or what did it have to do with?
I think it might have had something to do with race. She's part Indian. She have a complex with darker shades of color and stuff. So I didn't go to school.
So she thinks darker shades of color are
bad, I guess,
are
but
more bad.
Yeah, I guess.
mean, you really think that?
Yeah, I don't
that
think
happen?
that. I don't think that.
I mean, that.
But I think she thought that
Why do you think that?
because she sent me to all white schools until I rebelled in high school. I just got
She
tired.
told you needed to go to a home.
Yeah, she pulled me out of the regular school that I would go to, and always bused me to another school.
So she was protecting you
Yeah,
from the African Americans.
I guess that's
But you
what,
rebelled against that.
because I wanted to see my own culture. I wanted to see. So I had to go to alternative school in high school because I kept getting in trouble. So I graduated from an alternative school.
So does that go on in the community? Do people think like that, or
Yes, they call it color struck.
what do they call it?
Color struck.
Okay, and
I have an issue that Anisha pulled out of me. It's called "If You're Lighter, You're Brighter." How could she have pulled that out of me?
okay,
My mother have 2 sets of children too. She have a pair of children, and
Right.
then my father was dark skinned.
so that should you deal with? I'm not the only one that deals with those issues. That
No,
Puerto Ricans are not the only one, because we deal with those issues. And
No.
my mother was so proud of me because I was light skinned. She said my son's going to be a lawyer. So she put me in a higher pedestal than my sisters, who were a little darker.
yeah,
I mean, they were light too, but they were darker.
she put the lighter grandchildren. Yes,
Something like that?
yep. She put the lighter grandchildren
So
on
that
a
goes on in the
pedestal.
African American community.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Yes.
So they think they're protecting you, but you rebel.
I rebelled
Okay.
and got sent to a alternative school with.
What school was that?
It was called Schools of Choice in Flint, Michigan, and it had all of the criminals and juveniles, and I met my son's father there. The 2 boys, I met their dad
Oh,
there.
he was a criminal.
Yes, he was. Yes,
So
he
you
was.
kind of gravitated to those
Yep.
people, to the criminals.
Yep.
And I'm just joking.
In the underworld, I just wanted to. I was.
What was the school like? The alternative school?
They let you smoke there, and they had a room where they would let you
went out-
go in and
everybody smoked, so
smoke
they're not gonna
cigarettes.
argue with them.
Nope.
It's not that they let you. Everybody.
Yeah, they had a room where you could go in and smoke, and you went by pace. You went by a contract, and that's how you finished your class. They would give you like a syllabus. They would give it to you, and you would have to do all of the work on there, and then you pass your class. You could do it at your pace. So
But you were being sent there by who? The other schools?
yes,
So if you got into trouble in a school, they sent you there.
right.
What was the name of it again?
Schools of choice.
Schools of Choice. Okay, so they sent you.
To schools of
So
choice.
this was the city that sent you, or the county, whatever.
Flint schools.
Flint school district.
Flint, yes, put me out of
And
Flint
you said
schools.
you walk in there, and are there any fights?
Oh, yes, it was
I mean,
fights.
the guys tried to, but what do the girls do?
They fought too, but I wasn't gravitated towards that.
Right.
I liked it to watch them, I guess.
For fighting?
Yeah, I just liked it to watch them, the way they talked, and
Oh,
it was all different from what I knew.
They talk more slick. Or
Yeah.
Cool.
And yeah, and
so they get you in there because they talk.
right, and so then I started going out to after I was sneaking out of the house. I told my daughter that this morning, the 8-year-old. My mother knew that I was sneaking out of the house. I was going to an after-hour bar with some friends I had met at that school, Schools of Choice. But when I got in there, I would never tell them my real name. I always, when somebody would ask me my name, I wouldn't tell them my name. And then I run into them again and be like, I don't know who you are. I never seen you before in my life. And I was lying. My mother found out that I was going, and she was like, that building only got one way in and one way out. And you keep going in there, you're going to get trapped. You don't know if it'll catch on fire or anything. So she let me know. I knew what she was doing. And my mother can't read. She only have a 4th grade education.
So these kids that are in this alternative school, this is like a different culture?
It was different. It was different to me. they was exciting to me. Their lifestyle was the things that they would do. I mean, it was poverty stuff that I'd never seen. Like if one family, it was 5 girls, they would teach me how, if they didn't have an iron, what they would do, they would lay their clothes under the mattress and lay on it at night, and that would press their clothes out, or they would cut the cord off and set the iron on the stove. And, they was just doing different things that I had never seen before, and I just was in awe of their survival skills.
So they have some survival skills?
Yes.
I mean, that's kind of an ironing clothes without an iron.
Yes, putting meals together with the bare necessities of what they had. I never was on food stamps. My father worked for General Motors. He was a foreman.
Okay.
I never experienced.
So your father was more like a working person?
Yes.
And these people,
right. He was a functional alcoholic.
But he worked
with a supervisor job. Yes.
With a supervisor.
Yeah.
So and then these are the people from the alternative school. They were on welfare mostly.
Yes.
And they didn't work. Nobody worked. Maybe one parent home or something.
Yeah.
Is that
yes.
Okay. All right. So, but you liked them. They were sharp and cool, and
I thought they was more honest. I guess.
More honest, they were for real.
That's
and
what I guess.
Whenever they wanted.
Yep.
Did you smoke cigarettes?
Yeah, I quit those 7 years ago. Yep. I quit.
So okay, let me see what we haven't touched on. We touched on your plans, right? Your future plans.
My future plans include a lot. I can't name the name of it.
Surgery.
Right, but what I want to do with seniors, one thing I want to do with them is write a letter. I found out, write letters to their children, things that they don't know how to say, and give it to them when they pass away. Okay. It's a name for that. I forgot the name. My professor was telling me about it. But because as I talk to the older people over at the place that's rich, they tell me stuff. And I ask them, do your kids know this? And they say, no. I say, why you never tell your kids how strong, or you went through this, or you went through that? And I would just like to, I would like for my mother to have somebody write a letter. She don't know how to explain herself, but if she...
Is she still alive?
Yeah, she's still alive.
Okay.
I would like for her to... My mother has never told me she loved me. I'm 45 years old. She wasn't the huggy type. She was abused as a child. Her mother abused her, severely abused her, from what I understand. So she...
you think that's the reason she didn't...
Yeah, she was abusive to the older children, but I was rebellious when that came too. I wasn't taking it.
She didn't tell you that she loved you. Did she show it in any other way?
Material things.
Material things that you didn't know.
Yeah, other than that, no.
Uh-huh.
She tell the grandkids that, and the great grandkids. I guess she done came far enough
to tell them
in her life to tell them that
she was safe with them.
That she loved them.
Why was she worried about telling you that?
I don't know.
Okay. But she learned later how to tell them. Okay.
Yeah.
So you think that telling stories to the
surviving children.
To the surviving.
Yeah, I would like a business like that.
Oh, like a business.
Yep.
A business like that. Okay. So now you're telling stories here.
Right.
So what's the main thing? What's the main thing that you want to tell your children?
The main thing I want my children
sure that they get from you, of who
to
you
believe
are,
in Jesus Christ is my main thing. To accept.
Let me play a game with you,
okay.
if I can. So who are you?
I am Patricia. I am a Christ-loving person. I'm not sin-free. I still do things. I'm on a process. I'm no angel. But I will go out of my way to help somebody if I can. I just like helping people. I like to see them smile. I like giving. You know, I like to give things to people better. I like to give more than receive. I don't know how to receive things. I like to give rather than receive. I believe I am a resilient person. That all the stuff that I've been through, I believe that keeps me resilient to stand. I can stand through anything, I think. So but I want my children to know Christ. That's the ultimate thing now that I'm working on with them. I want them to know Christ on their own, not from me.
What does it mean to know Christ?
To know that he died for our sins, and that if you go to him with a pure, clean heart, with undoubtful faith, and ask him for something, he will do it for you. He will. I mean, he brought me through a lot of stuff. He brought me out of drug addiction. He brought me, when my sister did call the CPS on me, they didn't take my children from me. I was supposed to be on crack somewhere. He kept me from that. So that's why. And I believe that they see that. He kept me going through school. I have a 3.54 grade point average. I'm doing very well. I did very well in school. So I just want them to see that nothing's impossible.
Okay. Respectfully, but I mean, you want them to know Christ. You have a 3.5 average, but didn't you do some of that work too?
Yes, I did.
That's someone from the
and they saw me doing it. They saw me up late at night on the computer writing papers. They saw that. They know it wasn't easy, but I didn't quit. I endured it. I didn't just say, it's over. I'm quitting. I'm stopping. I didn't stop. They know that too. And so they was looking at that. The same way you was looking at me getting high, who looking at me doing this. So
they're looking at you getting high, but they're looking at you knowing Jesus.
And it's different for them now.
But they're also looking at, because it's not just, you said, you also not only know Jesus, but you also work hard.
Right.
You had to work hard. It wasn't
right.
easy. And then, is that what you did? Or?
Yes. I had to take them to some houses with me sometimes and make them sit on the couch while I had to clean the lady up and wash her dishes and make dinner. So they know what I did. They know.
Do you think that's important for them to learn?
Yes.
About life?
Yes.
What should they learn about life? What do you want to teach them about life that isn't taught in school?
Yes, there's a lot of that. To take care of their own, be responsible. Ownership is one thing. Don't play Adam. Don't say, she gave it to me to eat. You did this because you did it. Own up to what you do. Don't try to put fault off on people.
Oh, so Adam tried to blame the woman.
Right. He said, she gave it to me. No. That didn't mean you were supposed to eat it. Mm-hmm. So I don't want to hear so-and-so made me do this and that. No, you got to have ownership when you do things. I learned that through school and with the drugs as well. You're not going to get no help if you don't own up to what the problem is. How can you get help? So, yeah, ownership, really. And the two oldest ones got that. They got that pretty bad. They like to shift blame off on other people.
Okay, now, some people, just like drugs or cigarettes or anything, they say that there's relapse.
Right.
Okay. So before now, did you ever try to quit and then relapse?
I did relapse.
And how did you feel about that?
I did relapse. I felt terrible. Actually, I relapsed because my godson shot himself in the head in Flint. And and I went up to his funeral and I relapsed. I actually was clean for 2 years. And I relapsed. I did it just that one time. It was a friend that I was around that I know that I shouldn't have been around. and she had it, and I did it. I felt so bad. I feel bad about it. I did go into debt because I had got a credit card, and I used that credit card to get money off of it to buy drugs that night, and I just finished paying those people off. So that was a debt that I had to pay, and I have a picture from that night that I look at because we went to a bar and we took a picture that night, and it hurts really bad because one of the friends on the picture, she's had a massive stroke since then. She's only 42. She's in a nursing home, got a trach and a feeding tube, and that very well could have been me. So I think about that too.
So people do relapse then?
Yes, they do.
So that's part of the treatment?
I
mean, that's part of cleaning up.
Yeah, I think so.
What you think? Or?
Yeah, I've been watching this documentary called The Corner. Mm-hmm. I forgot the guy that did it, but it's the same guy that did The Wire. It was shot in Baltimore about a family that they followed that was addicts and stuff. And I watched that a lot to reflect on that. And I know she relapsed, but then she got herself back on track again. So
that's the hardest part, is to get back on track.
Yeah, you know what the hardest part was? Knowing that I couldn't go around that certain friend no more. And so our friendship, and she was a friend from like the cradle to the grave type. We've been knowing each other since, because she was older than me. She was my sister's friend. So she knew when they brought me home from the hospital and all of that. And so that kind of hurt a little bit, till I got strong enough to be around her. She just moved to Arizona. And till I got strong enough to be around her and know that she was about to pull the pack out. And I'm like, no, I had to stop hanging around her. So that did hurt a little bit.
So why did you have to stop hanging around her?
Because it's just something about her that I would do it with. It was just something about her that I didn't have she actually was the one I relapsed with, so.
So what do you mean something about, so as soon as you saw her, in the back of your mind.
Right.
It's like,
we about to get high. No, she already had it.
She already had it?
Yeah.
So you said we are about to get high.
Right, we're about to get high, yeah.
So that stays in the back of your mind.
Yep.
That's the relapse, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just trying.
But as far as relapsing,
the only reason I'm repeating is because I relate. My cousin was like that when we saw each other. We were about to get high.
Right.
That's what we said.
But as far as relapsing now, I done came too far to look back at that. That would just be the dumbest, most idiotic mistake I can make. Even smoking a cigarette.
Even if you hit the lottery.
Even if I hit the lottery.
Because isn't that the way cocaine works? I mean, when you don't have any money, you quit. But as soon as there's money around.
You're right. But when there's money around now, I'm thinking about how much I'm going to tithe to the church and which one I'm going to give. And who's going to get this much and that much. I'm glad you brought that up. Now, if I think about hitting the lottery now, I think about helping North Park build their church. They got a lot, but no building on it. That's how I feel. Donating some money to this place, donate money to Mel Trotter. I don't think about getting high.
But what I was saying, you remember that?
Right. Yeah.
When you broke,
Yeah. That.
But now you transferred that. Now you got something else
to think about besides that. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay, I'm just trying to think with all the issues related to the cocaine thing.
Yes.
Because, it's not like you're the only...
No, actually, the cousin that I told you, she just got clean. She been clean a year now. But she had been on it way longer than me. And I had went to Flint. This is like, I hadn't been clean that long, not even a year. And I was sitting down there, and they was doing the drugs or whatever. And so... Somebody went to go get some more drugs. And when the person came through the door, I could smell the cocaine. I said, well, I'm going upstairs now. Because I smelt it. I said, what y'all was doing before wasn't nothing. I said, the real stuff has entered the building. I'm going upstairs. And that's what I did. I went on upstairs, and she saw that. She saw that I said no. So she said she had a dream one night that her kids was going to find her dead from ODing. And she went back to church and got saved and went to all of these Revive Flint and all of this, went to Revive Indiana and met up with a lady who has found, liked her so much. They own a hospice unit in Dallas, Texas, and they told her if you get your CNA license, you come here to live, and somebody paid for it, $1,200 to the Red Cross, and it just went like that. And now she's in Dallas, living her new life.
And why do people like drugs so much?
Because it make you forget about stuff.
Makes you forget about stuff?
Yeah, it made you...
Forget what kind of stuff?
It made you forget about everything. Drugs turned me into a different person. It made me courageous, invincible. It made me do things I usually wouldn't do. It made me speak to people in ways that I wouldn't normally speak to them. It made me brave, like I thought. Yeah, right, and I liked it that.
And you liked it. Did you like the drugs too? Did it make you feel good?
They made me feel good until the after effects.
No, but let's deal with the good part first.
Okay.
So it made you feel good, because if it made you feel bad, you wouldn't go back.
Right. It made me feel good.
Correct?
Right. It made me feel
so
good.
You kept coming back to it because it made you feel good.
Yeah.
When you smoke a cigarette, it
calms your nerves.
It calms your nerves.
Right.
It makes you feel good, so you keep smoking.
Right.
And then you get addicted. That's the problem.
Right. And that's what happened to me.
But so one of the reasons. So it does make you feel good, and it makes you forget. It makes you courageous. What else does it do?
It opened up my eyes, though, to how people really are.
To the world? So
I got to see things in people that I didn't see before I was doing the drugs. Like dirty-hearted things. That goes for my cousins. That goes for the friend. And I didn't know how to buy drugs, so I always needed somebody else until I figured out they beating me. The one that I would always relapse with was beating my socks off. Whoa, she was just taking those. She knew somebody that she could get it from cheaper, but she would take my money and then give them whatever and come back out. And I didn't know, I wasn't that good at math, but I had to get real smart real quick. And in the end, and in the end, I figured out this costs too much for me to be doing it with somebody. So I started doing it by myself until I felt confident enough to go out, and then I'll go over somebody's house and we can do it. But no, it made me forget about stuff. It made me forget about I don't have a husband to help me with these kids. It made me forget about these bills.
It took care of your loneliness.
It took care of the loneliness. It took care of what people thought about me. I didn't care.
The ridicule.
The rejection. It took care of all of that. Who cares if you reject me? I'm so and so, and I don't. It just made me feel like that.
So what do you do now for that?
Talk too much, really, for one. I talk a lot. I write.
You don't have,
I write journals.
You don't have that drug anymore to help.
I write journals. Coffee. I didn't drink coffee then. Now I'm a coffee addict.
But that's a drug, but everything's a drug.
Right, but I drink coffee like crazy now.
That's the problem. Everything is a drug, and people think everything's the same. It's not the same. Coffee's not the same as heroin or cocaine. Do not compare it.
And I stay busy.
And you stay busy.
Right, so I don't have to think about stuff. I
But
stay busy.
But stay busy kind of seems boring. I mean, but what makes you feel good now? What are the things that make
I'm
you
not,
feel
you
good?
know what make me feel good? My accomplishments that I made, but at the same time that make me feel bad because
No. Go back
you
to
want to
good.
go, you just want to feel, what
Yeah,
makes me feel good?
you
Come
keep
in
under the
here. I'm going to be honest. Come in here.
Yeah, don't bring me the bad.
Come in here and make me feel good. I don't even get paid to come here, but I love coming here. You
You
can't
don't get
stop
paid
me.
to come here?
No,
I
I'm
thought
a
you were on
volunteer.
staff. I thought you were on staff.
No, I'm a volunteer.
You're here all the time.
I know. That's what makes me happy.
Okay.
So that's why I come here.
Okay, so this is your cocaine here.
Basically.
That's good. It's mine.
Basically.
It's mine.
Yeah, basically that's what it is. I just keep coming.
Okay.
I ain't got nowhere else to go. I could be somewhere messing up right now.
Okay.
But I said, nope, I'm coming to the Methodist. Because I know it's something they can find me to do.
But you're coming not only, they could find something to do, but I mean, you're coming because you feel good.
Right. And I'm helping people.
You're
Yep.
helping people, you're helping others.
Yep.
And you're helping yourself by helping others.
Yes.
So that kind of, and you're being responsible to your family and
Right.
and more respect. They
Right.
know-
Right. It's
Yeah,
just a different
I'm
life.
not putting words in your mouth.
No, you're not putting words in my mouth. It's a different way of life. It's a whole different way of life. Being a drug addict is hard. You got to struggle and strategize and lie and, listen to a whole bunch of small talk and fairy tales and I didn't like that either. I didn't like that. I picked that up real quick, that these people are cold-hearted. So I just didn't like the drug world. I didn't like their hearts. I knew that they was bad. I knew that they was no good. So after a while,
They were no good.
Yeah, the dealers,
their behavior.
their behavior.
Because they were human beings.
Right, because they human beings, but
But their behavior was definitely not good.
Right, but I'm like, wow, I'm not beating you. Why would you beat me?
Am I correct? Their behavior?
Yes.
I mean, you didn't hate them, right? Were you?
No, I didn't hate them because I kept going around them. So I didn't hate them.
Right.
I was discouraged.
And they're around. I mean, it's not like they're not around.
Right, I was discouraged by their behavior. Yes,
Okay.
I was.
So, okay.
And then a lot of truth came out. Like the cousin, her mother got high with us too. So that was a mother and a daughter and a cousin getting high. And then she would get high and say, y'all always thought y'all was better than me. And just talk about me real bad after I done spent $500. Now I'm dirt. And so I'm like, oh, well, all of this, all of it. I was like, this not.
So what you're saying is there's so many contradictions
Yeah,
in that world.
right,
There's nothing straight. It's all contradictions.
right.
Fantasies.
Yes. And I don't,
Dreams,
yes.
Fantasies, all this stuff.
Lies.
Lies.
A lot of lies. So I just didn't like that because I don't like to lie. I can't keep up with the lie that I told the last time, so it'd be first honest for
So
me.
even though you're having fun, is it an easy world, or is it, how would you describe it?
It wasn't easy.
Today that you're,
It wasn't easy because it took away from my kids.
no, but I mean today that you're clean.
Today that I'm
Is it an
clean,
easy world?
this is much easier.
You think it's easier?
I got my problems, but this is way much easier.
So you still have problems, that's my point.
Yeah, I still got problems, but this is way much easier than trying to figure out
How you gonna get
how I'm gonna get high. Yeah,
Okay.
that's too much.
So about that drug life that we learn all this information from by living through it and all
Right.
that. It's not necessary for other people to go through it to learn it. What can you tell them so they don't have to do that? That you learn from that life. Like for your children, what can you tell them?
I told them they saw it though. My kids, but I could tell them that it's not. You're not going nowhere
They
fast.
saw it from a different.
Yeah, they saw
thing
it from a
because-
different
because
point
they
of
weren't
view.
using.
Right.
So what do you want to tell them?
Never try. You might like it.
Because they might like, because there is some good stuff. I mean, you do feel good. It makes you
Don't
feel
do
good.
it, you might like it.
Okay, don't do it, you might like it,
Yep.
and then you're in trouble.
Yep.
Is that-
Curiosity might kill you.
Might kill
So
you.
just don't do it because you might like it.
You might like it because it does make you feel good.
Right.
But you now we can tell them the problems. What are the problems?
Who, the children's problems?
No, the cocaine. You said it makes you feel good. That's the good part.
Yeah.
But then there's some problems. You said.
Health problems. It did something to my thyroid where it started. I had to have a thyroidectomy. It was pushing in. It changed my voice. I got high blood pressure problems when I got on it. I got a lot of medical problems when I started using cocaine. So medical issues started popping up with that,
Okay.
which wasn't good.
So a lot of medical issues. Any mental issues?
Not so much as.
Well, I don't mean mental. I mean psychological, emotional.
Oh, yeah, picking the wrong choice of man
Okay.
and having 2 children with him, and now I gotta live with that.
So a man, and we got to kind of finalize this
Okay.
up. But man had been an issue in your life,
Yes.
and that created a more drug situation.
Yes.
So what has been your problem with men?
I guess I don't attract the right ones, and the wrong ones always came on to me, and I just thought maybe.
Why don't you attract the right one?
Because I don't know what I want yet. I don't know what's good. All I seen was, like I said, my father was an alcoholic. He wasn't abusive though, but I haven't been in a relationship with somebody that went to school, and so I wouldn't even know how to react to them. So I'm basically just trying to stay solo until I've.
Did you date a lot, or did you have different choices, or you just kind of went with the first one that came?
I just went with the first one that came.
All right. So did that create problems? Because I mean, you never.
Yeah, I mean, I took care of this man for the last 10 years. He's never worked or did anything. I was buying and still buying him alcohol and cigarettes when I wasn't even using it. So, yeah, that was taking a toll on me.
What was it that he gave you? I mean, again.
Sex and kids.
Oh, sex and kids.
That's it.
So he was good in the bed,
And that was it. That's
it.
it. That was
Okay.
it.
Did he have any mental or any other things that helped you?
No, he actually was very annoying after I got clean. At first it was funny because he was like a classroom clown type.
Right.
But after I started going to school and he's still walking around saying these little cliches and these little ignorant things and always begging somebody for 50 cents, I started to look at him in another light. Like, this is not what I want.
Okay.
But I didn't see it before. I didn't see it. It was funny at first.
Okay, but again, that's because you didn't have choices.
Nope, I didn't.
Is that what you're saying?
I didn't let myself have choices.
What you're saying, you went with the first one that
I
came?
went with the first thing that came.
Okay. Any final thoughts?
I am very grateful for being over here with the United Methodists. I've learned a lot spiritually about myself, and about the direction that I'm going in. Miss Bobby and Miss Anita are basically molding me like a piece of clay, and I just look forward to actually working here one day. I actually look forward to that.
Okay.
I'm hoping that one day I can work here.
And you do have the skills. I mean, you
Yes,
went
I do.
To college and stuff
Yep.
like that, and plus nursing skills and that.
Yep.
And I'm sure if you put a resume in short, so that
Right.
it gets around, that might help. If not here, there's other.
Other places. I like this place because these people,
You got choices, remember?
I got choices, but they the choice just like the choice from high school. I gravitate to these type of people.
No. I'm saying you got choices. It's a big field.
Right, it is
So
a big
there's
field.
different things that you.
But I'd
can look
rather
at.
help the poor people.
No. I'm not saying that this place is not good.
I know.
I'm just saying,
Right, I gotta.
don't put everything in one basket.
Right. Oh no, I know I can't put everything in one basket.
Because then you got
Right.
from the expand.
Right,
Plus, that would gives you more negotiating power.
right.
You say, well, I got all these places that want me.
Well, when it comes to that'll be real
just
exciting
kidding.
when
I'm
that
just kidding.
time comes. I can't wait to see that because I feel
I
it.
might have to take this off the
I feel it coming
I'm in
though.
trouble.
The all the opportunities. I feel this. I don't know what it is. I can't tell the future, but I know that something big is gonna come out of my life.
The last things you want to tell your kids.
That I love them.
Okay.
That I love you, Amina and Noah and Michael and Genesis and JL. I love you. Yep.
Okay. Your gorgeous is in jail.
Who?
Oh, did you say something about jail?
No, JL. Her
JL.
name is out of the Bible in Judges. JL.
Okay.
I named most of my children from the Bible, except for the oldest one. He was a Muslim when I married him. That's why my last name is the way it is.
Your oldest
Is Amina. Her dad is,
is a Muslim.
yes.
Okay. All right. That's it?
That's it.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you.